at my family store, Grand Tea Imports. This is a space for them to share information and kind of almost like banter. You know, everything from like politics gets talked about here to like, I don't know, family gossip. Wait, sorry. Before, did my mom's voice get recorded in there? Mamiya! My name is Alice. I am the second generation owner of Grand Tea Imports, and we're chatting with the museum at Eldridge Street. Our store came about in 2006, like 20 years prior. My dad had immigrated to America and he had not had a chance to go back to China to visit family in the time that he had been gone. So he missed out on a lot of milestones with his own family and with his community. And so his way of catching up was that like they gathered a lot for dim sum or food, but always with tea as a medium in between. He saw the philosophy of the tea, how it's like a way for people to connect and reconnect. And so he really wanted to bring that here. Growing up on Eldridge Street, specifically in front of the museum at Eldridge Street, was kind of mysterious because visually speaking and linguistically and what I experienced was very Chinese, and I was like, why is this random synagogue? Why is this here? And then it wasn't until middle school we started learning about Lower East Side heritage, Lower East Side culture, and I learned that like Chinatown, it was not always Chinatown and that it's always been a mix of culture. And when that clicked in my mind, it kind of felt like the museum was like a testament of that beautiful history of our neighborhood. When you walk into the store, our aisles are overflowing with all kinds of goods. And then you also like smell our store. My parents put incense every single morning to start our day with a prayer. You also smell the herbs from our apothecary. A lot of times you also smell the tea that we're brewing in the back of the store that we like give to friends. So it's a pretty sensory experience.
Hi, my name is Karen Liu. I'm the second generation owner of Grand Tea Imports. Today we're going to be going through an abbreviated version of the Chinese tea ceremony, and we're going to be brewing the Taishan black tea.
In Chinese teas, whether it's like green tea, oolong tea, black tea, we have all the heavy hitters. But what we really specialize in are two types of teas. It's pu'er teas, which is an aged tea and or fermented tea. A lot of our friendships with tea farmers are in Yunnan. So that happens to be the origin of pu'er tea. So we have a lot of very expensive and very aged, very vintage, very rare pu'er teas. And then the second type of tea that we specialize in is tea from my family's hometown, which is Taishan.
The Taishan black tea is produced from our ancestral hometown, and it's small batched, harvested every year by local farmers that we've worked with.
For a long time, it was very hard to get people to enjoy those teas because they are so niche and so specific. But the core of our business has always been that my dad wanted to create a space where we felt like it was reflective of our cultural heritage. He wanted to raise his two girls in an environment that he had designed so they can continue to understand the lived culture and experience of the Chinese diaspora and grow up very comfortable with that. And so these are the teas that he drank back at home and he drinks when he goes home. And so these are the teas we also carry.
So now that the tea has been warmed and the equipment has been prepared, we are ready for the official brew of the Taishan black tea.
Chinatown and the Lower East Side used to have a lot of garment factories. My mom, as well as many family members, worked in these garment industries. As a kid, there was a garment factory right on my block. A lot of thread and a lot of zippers and a lot of fabric. Whenever they get like thrown out, a lot of aunties pick up that, and because they have garment making skills from their work, they will make the clothes there was this railing in front of the garment factory, and I would pretend it was the monkey bars. And I remember very specifically like swinging back and forth while my mom and my grandma were like finding threads and zippers and buttons that were useful to them. You come into this neighborhood, it feels like, okay, people are not just shopping here, people live here. You see grannies living their lives, but you also see like, the stores from like a street level sense. You see like everything looks very reflective of the people who shop here and the people who live here too. I know so many Chinese families or Asian American families that travel back here just to make sure that they can like come to like doctor appointments here, get their hair cut here because they trust that the barbers here can cut their hair a certain way, or they can communicate with the barber to like make sure that it turns out the way they want to. For the residents who live here, it's got everything. This is the place where they can exhale and be like, I'm home.
You can enjoy the tea now.
Grantian Imports is so much more than a store from an outsider's perspective. We provide cultural goods that are necessary to sustain daily cultural practices, whether it's for weddings, for funerals, for Lunar New Year, for like Ghost Festival, for Qingming. You know, we have the essential stuff. But then aside from that, the more intangible things that you can't see unless you like spend a lot of time at the store is we're like a gathering space for the older generation. When they're walking home, they need to sit down for a little bit. Everyone here would just grab a chair and they can sit out front or they can sit in the back and chat here if they want to hang out longer. It's a place where kids who get off of school and their parents can't pick them up yet, they come here to like hang out for a little bit. I mean, we live in the place where we work, so we are trying to actively cultivate a space where it's a vibrant community and it's dynamic and people get to talk to one another. And so I was really happy when my family got invited to participate in the Egg Roll Egg Cream Empanada Festival, because I feel like it just makes so much sense. It's so destined and meant to be, because my family and my extended family has always been rooted in the building across the street from the Eldridge Street Museum. It feels like a homecoming, and we are wholly invested in our community, and we try to be as open as possible to every walk of life in this neighborhood.